Hi everybody, this is Dan from Laser Toys, and I'm going to do a quick build on a mini arrow. I'll show you how that goes, so make sure you get all your parts out, get everything together here so that you can just assemble it, and it's a pretty quick, easy build. You've got your motor mount. I'm sure you've seen that already, and you might have a little piece of wood in there. Just push it out. There might be some wood in the holes for the motor, but just push those out. Take your two pieces and glue them together. I've already glued it together. This is just foam tack to glue it together. It works really good, extremely strong, and that's ready to go. Then you've got your layer design here. So this is the top layer and the bottom layer. Those two fit together, and you can glue them together just like that. And you want to line everything up so that your servos fit together and all that. Now I'm going to do it a little bit differently because I'm going to put lights in the one that we have. So I've already put a decal on there, and I put lights on the bottom and ran it through the servo holes. And we're actually going to glue this on top of this piece. You can use hot glue, or you can use foam tack. Foam tack gives you a little more time to work with. I've also pushed this down a little bit just by where the lights are, just to give it a little more room when we put it together. It doesn't really hurt anything, just to give it a little more room. Then I took my fingernail on a flat surface and I pushed the foam, compressed it, so it gives a little more room for the lights in here. And it doesn't really, it barely leaves a mark on the other side that you can barely see. So anyway, we're gonna glue these two pieces together. I'm gonna use hot glue, and I'm actually gonna go around the outside of this piece. And you want to do it pretty quick because you don't have a lot of time with hot glue. Okay, so we're gonna go around the whole perimeter. Then we'll go on either side of the lights, then around the servo spots, around the hole for the prop, servo area, and we'll put a little extra in there. In certain spots we see big areas. Okay, now we're going to place this together. We'll line it up right over the holes for the servos and for the rudders, and push down. Okay, and that, I mean, it lines up pretty easy. It's not too bad. If you're off just a little bit, it's not going to really make a big difference. So we lined up those holes and the servo holes. I've got my wires that are going to come through here, and we're gonna tuck them underneath and hook up everything from there. So I'm going to go ahead and clip those so we got enough room to wire on either side. Okay. Alright, I'm going to stick them underneath, and we're going to put the rudders on next. Alrighty. Okay. So the rudders, there's a couple marks on either side of the fuselage. I don't know if you can see those or not. There's a little mark that helps you line up the rudder. Those go to the inside. So I'm going to put some glue on the bottom of the rudder. I'm going to place on there. I'm going to stick it in the front, and I'm going to slide it. And those slots go right to the inside underneath. So you should cover those up, and that should be perfect. These should be perpendicular. If you want, you can use your piece for the underside to square them up, and that'll be good. I'm going to do the same thing over here. Put this one together, place it in, and put it over my marks. That's just about perfect. Push it forward, check my square, And this one's going to lean a little bit this way. And that'll be good. That looks nice. Okay, so we've got our rudders in, we've got the body put together, and on the bottom side, got a couple different pieces here. These are going to line up with the nose. Now you want the one with the cutout in there first, maybe black or white, depending on what we've got. But you want to line this up, then center it, and that's the way it's got to go on there. So I'm going to glue this. Same thing, go around the perimeter, and then glue the center. Okay, place it all together. Just going to go underneath and kind of line it up first. If you want, you can measure it and mark it. And I'm fairly good at eyeballing it, but you can probably even be better than me if you measure it. So there we go. Alright, so we've got that piece in. This cutout is going to be for our motor mount. So if you notice, our motor mount fits in there perfectly. Alright, I'm going to take the one I've already pre-glued, and I'm going to place a little bit of glue in here. Okay, and then on the back side where it's going to hit also. And I'm going to glue this piece in and push that down so it's ready to go. I'm going to fill in the two little corners here with some glue. That gives you a little added strength. And on the back side here, don't worry about the hole on the bottom. We're only going to use the two holes that are sticking up. The other two don't really matter. Alright, so we glued that in. So that motor mount's on there pretty good. And to get our motor mount even stronger, we have our second piece that goes over top of it. And again, we're going to glue around the perimeter. Okay. And we're going to glue that right on top. Just line it up with that one. And I'm going to move my wire out of the way. Okay, we've got that glued together. And you can slide it around for a little bit. Okay, the other cutout is for the receiver. Your antenna wires and stuff. Alright, we're going to box in the area for the electronics. I'm just going to put a bead of hot glue along here and glue our sides in. Same thing on the other side. Just put a nice bead in here. Okay. And place the sides on. What that'll do, that'll give you enough room for your battery, your receiver, and your speed controller inside of there. These wires are for our lights, so we'll wire those in a little bit later. We've got our elevators on, and you want to flex those and make sure they're not stuck too much with the foam tack hinge. Now we're going to place our servos in the spots, and if you notice, it's actually a pocket, and these will bottom out. So we're going to place our servos in here and put a little bit of glue on either side, so the ears of the servo are going to get stuck down. Okay, and we'll just hold behind it and push those down into place, get them nice and level, and those should be good. We should see a little bit of glue is up through the hole, and that should be good. Alright, so we'll put both of those in, and we will center our servos and put our arms on a little later. And we'll mount our motor, and we're pretty much going to be done. So it's a fairly simple build, even with lights in it. And I'm going to put our glue in. Again, we're going to press these into the holes. little bit of glue oozes up through the servo. There we go. Now you can add a little bit to the sides if you want on the servos, just to keep them in there good. I'm going to move my wires out of the way just for now. Actually, I think coming around the front side would be good on those. So I'm going to put a little bit of glue in here and do that. Okay. One other thing I like to do is along this back side, we're going to put a bead of hot glue, hold it down. Now this adds a little bit of strength, but it also keeps these two pieces together. And if you need to, you might have to hold them down for just a little bit and make sure you have a good seam there. And
okay.
Okay, ready? Now, okay, now I can talk on the next one. I just did all this, so. Alright, you're looking at the motor mount. They give you a pack of screws in the motor pack. They also give you an Allen wrench, which is kind of nice. Now there's different size screws in here. You want to use the shortest ones possible so that you don't screw the screws in so far that you damage the armature. So what we're going to do is we're going to take one of the short screws here and we're going to put our speed controller down through the slot, and there's a short distance across two of the screws and a longer distance across two. Alright, the longer distance goes up and down, and the shorter distance goes from side to side. So you can actually put a screw in the top screw hole here, twist it around so that the longer screw hole is in the top. I think you can see that. And we're going to start screwing that in. You don't want to tighten it up all the way. Alright, then we're going to grab another short screw here. And I'm going to go in one of the ones from the side. All you have to do is just get it so it's pretty level. And the screw will start screwing right in there. And let's get one more. So it's going to go pretty easily onto here, and you'll be able to tighten it up. Okay. And we'll get this one in there. Alright, and you want to give them a little tweak at the very end after you get them all tightened up. And kind of tighten them in sequence. And then okay. Alright, so we're in there. We're going to arrange all of our electronics up here. I've already got my lights hooked up in there, and I'll show you how those are real quick. You need a 3-cell to light the lights up, but this is what your lights are going to look like. That's the ones inside of the wing, and that looks pretty cool. You can add more lights or whatever, but that's kind of a nice way to go. I use the balance connector to connect the lights. So let's turn that back on, and pretty much everything else is hooking up your push rod wires. I use the linkage stoppers on the servo arms, and then use the Z-bent wire to hook up the control for the elevons. You want to flex the elevons a few times to make sure they're loose, and then you're ready to go. I mean, that's pretty much complete. I'm gonna leave it at that, and we'll have some flying videos after this. Thanks. Have fun.